Yeah.
Okay, I think we're good. Are we good? All right, awesome. All right, we're back in session after back in open session after executive session. Please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Let's start with mission and vision, please. Sure.
FPS mission. The Falmouth Public Schools creates a world-class student learning experiences. Our Clippers are empowered to pursue their goals with curiosity, integrity, and resiliency. FPS vision. Clippers are creative, inquisitive, and engaged learners who participate in their community as socially responsible citizens. Clippers effectively communicate and solve problems that impact the world around them.
Thank you. In accordance with Massachusetts open meeting law, I remind everyone that this meeting is being recorded. If any member of the public would like to make an audio or video recording of this meeting in person or at home, please notify me by raising your hand, either in person. Thank you. And you just need to state your name for the record. Rachel Delaney, Thank you. Anyone else recording tonight? Anyone recording online? If you're recording at home, please just raise your hand. Thank you. Statement, and we're going to start with student advisory. Isabel, thanks for joining us again. Fill us in on what's happening at the high school.
Okay, starting in athletics, boys basketball had their annual Chase Soares night. So it's honoring the life of Chase Soares. He was a basketball player. And it's Chase Soares Foundation was like spreading kindness and carrying on his legacy. And it was always a good night, and there was lots of people there, and it's also a fundraising thing, so that's really good. Girls hockey had a big win against Barnstable, 8-0, and beat Nauset as well, so they're like a hot streak, so that's very exciting. Academics, annual program of students night for 8th graders and their families to come to Falmouth High School and learn about what it has to offer with co-curriculars and athletics, and just checking out what's happening for next year. And then I'm sure you all know, but MCAS is no longer a requirement for graduation. So that's a big change, and they're looking at statewide at least to replace that with a personal finance course to graduate. And I'm taking that class right now, and I think it would be a really good idea. It's kind of like life skills that everyone should know. So I think that would be a good replacement. Yesterday was the first day of second semester. So students halfway through the year, and then also meeting with their guidance counselors for next year, scheduling courses. Senior highlights, there's the senior auction and then the senior trip. And this year they're doing a Red Sox game in April. So I think that could be awesome for them. And then juniors, not kind of less of a highlight, but SAT prep is starting. And then they'll take the SAT in June. And then we have a student government meeting next Wednesday.
Awesome, that's a lot of awesome things. Awesome. Thank you. And yeah, please, questions for Isabel?
No, not a question. I just wanted to say, I went to the girls' basketball game Friday night, and the reason I'm mentioning this because they beat Barnstable. That's it. Sorry, I have to say that. Yeah.
Any other comments?
Katrina. Margaret and I will be coming to meet with you all tomorrow for student advisory, so we'll try and think of things to talk about, and you guys can too. We'll see you tomorrow.
And just in general, thank you so much. You've been so consistent in coming and sharing updates. So we really appreciate it. It's so nice to hear firsthand things that are going on.
And you're nice and clear and articulate. I appreciate
Very much.
that.
So thank you. Thanks again. Thank you as well. All right, we have an awesome recognition. I'll turn it over to Dr. Dorn to honor our special guest.
So this is so exciting, and if I could ask Robert, so please come up here. Congratulations again. I know we've done this one, but this is really important. this is not a typical award that, that the school committee gets to see, and I'm really pleased to say that Robert was picked as the represent Massachusetts as a U.S. Presidential Scholar nominee. Hold up so everyone can see, so they see that. And you know I'm not done. I've been saying that for a while. So who's Robert? Let's find out who Robert is, right? So this resume is so long, there's no possible way I could give it all, but I'm very excited. He has a 3.99 GPA. He is, although we don't really do class rank, he is the #1 in his class, so I'm sorry, I have to mention that even though we don't have that. He is an AP scholar with distinction. He is a member of the National Math, Science, and Trine Music Honor Societies. He was awarded the Rotary Youth Leadership Award. He's been, I got to see Robert over years in the, both marching band and the jazz ensemble, and it's so exciting. I feel like you've gone from, just a real performer. When I watch you now, it's just, it's just amazing to get to see you. I just want you to know that on the stage. So, seen you many years. He came in first place both at the STEAM Fair in 23 and 24. He also placed third the year before that. And he participates in the mock trial. All the things that we're mentioning just shows how rounded the student is. He also is winter track, and he was a league sportsmanship award because it speaks directly to his character, which I can attest to. Spring track, cross country. He is a English language development peer mentoring for our students, which is great. So I could just go on and on about like all of his just his characters. I just have to say, and I think, and I know Dr. Harris is here somewhere because I saw his face. Oh, there he is. I just, he said it best the other day, is that Robert is just consistently a good person and does the right thing all the time. And we are just always just very, very proud of you. And so I want to tell a little bit about what the award, right? So he was nominated, he was 1 of 25 in the state of Massachusetts, and now he goes on to national competition. And so that is in store for him. The letter that I had received said that Robert Simpkins had been selected by the acting commissioner, Russell Johnson, and the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, and that this year was highly competitive. So he was one out of outstanding submissions. The nominees selected will now be invited to the U.S. Department of Education's National Review Team, and he'll have to go through completing a whole application for that. So I know it's a little extra work in your senior year, but it's really important. So this is one of the, it was established to recognize and honor some of our nation's most distinguished graduating high school seniors, and it's one of the nation's highest honors for high school students. And just congratulations, you deserve it. Congratulations to you too. Because they've absolutely, the care that your parents have taken over all the years and the encouragement, I know it's been very important. So thank you for being here. And I know that your mom wanted you here. She's watching. So we're just proud of you. Thank you for being here tonight for this gift. And we are going to take a
Yes, we're gonna take a short recess,
and
we can chat with Robert and get to know him and prod him about what he's doing next year. And we'll be back in 5 minutes. Yeah. We'll maybe 10. Item on the agenda, which is public comment. Members of the public are welcome to speak about items that are not on the agenda. Comments should be limited to 2 minutes in length. Due to open meeting law, the committee cannot act on public comment for items on the agenda. The chair may accept comments from the public following the committee's discussion. Additional comments and feedback can always be submitted by email to schoolcommittee@falmouth.k12.ma.us. Do we have anyone for public comment? Come on up and have a seat at the table and state your name, especially clearly tonight because Sharon unfortunately is zooming in.
Hi Sharon. My name's Amanda McLaughlin. Tonight, I sit before you as both a voice of concern and a call to action. While we eagerly anticipate NESDEC's forthcoming evaluations of our school buildings, I urge us to remember that a district's strength cannot be measured in bricks and mortar alone. Their findings may address the physical spaces where learning takes place, but they fail to capture something far more pressing: the glaring inequities among our elementary schools and the profound disparities woven into the day-to-day experiences of both our students and staff. Consider the students at North, East, Mullen, and Teaticket. 4 different schools, yet 4 startlingly different realities. From classroom resources to extracurricular opportunities, from student support to overall school climate, the disparities are undeniable. A child's educational experience, and with it their future, should not be determined by the luck of their geographic assignment. Every child in our district deserves access to the same high-quality education and elementary experience. Every teacher deserves to feel supported and valued, yet that is not the current reality. Our educators, whom we commended at our recent budget meeting for their exceptional education and qualifications, are being repaid with mismanagement, heavy-handed oversight, unclear directions, and shockingly, intimidation through inappropriate police presence within our schools. These brave individuals who work tirelessly to shape and inspire young minds deserve better. They deserve an environment that fosters their ability to teach and not one that undermines it. We know better, and because we know better, we must do better. Here's the crux of the matter. We cannot build a successful future outlined in NESDEC's proposals on a foundation that is so deeply fractured. Addressing inequity isn't just a moral obligation, it is a critical necessity for ensuring the long-term success of any initiative we hope to implement. I ask you, the decision makers, to please shift your focus. Before we act on recommendation lists or tackle building renovations, we must first address the inequities. Prioritize fairness, resources, and support.
You're welcome to
Thank you.
share your letter with us,
Okay.
and we'll make copies for the rest of the committee so they can all see the rest of it.
Okay, thank you.
Did you want to leave it for the rest so we can read the whole thing?
I ask you, the decision makers, to shift the focus. Before we act on recommendation lists or tackle building renovations, we must first address the inequities. Prioritize fairness in funding, resources, and support. Reinvest in the well-being of our educators. Reassess the policies and practices within our schools that have eroded trust. This is the foundation upon which structural change must stand. This is not just an educational crisis, it's a community crisis, and it demands your commitment, your courage, and your swift action. Together, we can ensure that every student, regardless of their zip code, and every educator, regardless of their school, feels valued, seen, and empowered within our district. Thank you.
Is there anyone else for public comment tonight? Why not? Yes. Be careful, they're very reading.
Hi, my name is Jennifer McCarthy. I'm a mom of 3 daughters in the school system. And I didn't have anything written or prepared. I'm here to talk to you, to tell you how stressful it has been over the past few months. And I'd like to say it's only because of the merger, but you know what? It's not only because of the merger. It's not. I have had issues with, I had 2 daughters in 3rd grade, right? Both in the same school, same grade, same school, two totally different experiences. One daughter had, it was a piloted program, modern classroom. And that at the same time, modern teacher was going on. It was so stressful for my whole entire family. My daughter had to go to the doctors. She had to have glasses. She was having all these symptoms with headaches, behavioral issues, and it's because of what was going on in the classroom. But the main thing that it came down to was communication and transparency, because there was a lot going on within the district that parents were not aware of. And it continues today with everything that happened with the merger, from teachers being told to pick their transition, right? To go to a school that, is in crisis. The teachers aren't safe, the students aren't safe, and we're gonna put a whole school in there. So all these decisions that are going on, I, as a parent, have lost confidence in the administration. Enough is enough. Where do we go from here? What is it gonna look like the next school year? Do you have a plan in place to help our students? Do you have a plan in place to help the students at East? Enough is enough. I think that, it's time for the superintendent to resign. I really don't see another option going forward.
Walden. After my son's horrific incident October, I received no help from any part of the school. The safety plan was lackluster and was not given to me until over a week after the incident. There should have been an outpouring of love for him, and yet he was blamed for being assaulted by a group of 3 children. The school resource officer took over 3 weeks to even make a report, which once I received was a joke and inconsistent of what happened. They denied me the footage, however. After reaching out to the Massachusetts Advocates for Children, I was made aware that East Falmouth Elementary School has a responsibility to provide me with the opportunity to view any video footage of the incident. This is a right protected under the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act, FERPA. If East Falmouth Elementary School does not apply with 45 days with my request to review the footage, I can file a FERPA complaint. Well, once I found this out, I contacted them and they had 3 days left to allow me to see it, and they jumped immediately to let me see. What did the footage show? Well, it showed basically what happened. It was on the far side of the playground, no teachers. Some was hard to see, but it was clear that my son was being pushed around and was lifted up and thrown down. The footage also shows my son running backwards, kicking at the one student to protect himself and try to get away. And again, no teachers. After getting no help and trying to get my son in a different district, I decided that North Falmouth seemed the best for my son, as he had friends there, so he would feel more comfortable. My new question is, why is North Falmouth so extremely different than East? Why are our schools so drastically different? Why do we not have the same expectations across all the schools? I'm extremely disappointed in the Falmouth administration and how they have let things get so bad. The proposals and agendas committee have not been in the best interest for the roughly 3,400 children. We trust in you that our children will be safe and will receive quality education. We choose you instead of private or other districts to care for our children for 30+ hours a week. Something must change.
Any last comment?
All right, so I've never done this before. Does the 2 minutes start after I introduce myself or before when?
Right, when you start, when you're actually starting.
So can I ask before I start, I've never done this. Can you guys introduce yourselves to me? Because I don't know any of you except for I know Dr. Dewar. and I know a few people, could you just introduce yourselves, because I'm like speaking to you about a personal thing, like you.
So all of our
introduce
names
who you
are out, so you can see who all
are,
of
but I
us
don't know
are,
who's
and,
who.
and our names are all right.
Oh,
Yeah.
I need glasses, sorry. All right, so,
And if you, I'll just let you know, since you said this is gonna be something personal, I mean, we can't hear things that are
I
about other
won't say
students and
anything,
things.
yeah, I know, I would never do that.
Thanks.
And you're Kelly, right? All right. Take a deep breath, because this is about my child, right? All right, my name is Autumn Rotler, I'm a taxpayer, we live in Wacoit, and my son is 7 years old, he's at East Falmouth Elementary. On September 18th, our 7-year-old son was brutally assaulted out at recess at his school, East Falmouth Elementary. Our son was repeatedly kicked in the shins, shoved to the ground, and bullied, and told by the bully to another student to pin him to the ground. Our son was circled around and he was on the ground while he was pinned. The bully repeatedly kicked him while he was on the ground. Our son was never sent to the nurse. The principal did not call me promptly. Can you imagine our 7-year-old going back to class and his mom would call? He's 7. The principal called me after school and our little boy to come up and tell me this himself. No real consequences for the bully and his friend that pinned him to the ground. The principal actually took soccer away from my son for being brutally attacked. For 5 months, this bully in his class has brutally bullied our son, and we have asked for him to be removed for 5 months. He's had 0 consequences from the bully and from the administration. There's 0 accountability. I have fully documented every single incident that my son reported, and we have fully reported it to the superintendent, to the school committee. And every single time has to be reported in the bullying handbook that's out of date, that lists Paul Good as the principal of East Falmouth. It says, name of reporter, my 7-year-old. The person filing the report, the principal, he reported it directly to Principal Kelly. He reported directly to Superintendent Dewar. He reported it directly to his teacher. So they legally have to fill out this report, and this report was never filled out.
Please finish your thought.
Thank you. They did not document, they did not investigate. Superintendent Dewar told me that the principal did not document each and every time my child was brutally bullied for 5 straight months. Breaking every law in the Massachusetts General Law, Section 370, the superintendent did not do her job to make sure that the principal, a former preschool director, and staff of parents were fully trained in bullying plans in place. That did not happen.
You are welcome.
The superintendent's job, this
is
is about my son, the superintendent's job to make sure the principal in the school is fully trained is a very serious matter. This did not happen. The staff and parents were not trained. The staff signed an outdated bullying handbook that was Paul Goodheim as the principal the superintendent school committee are fully aware that our little boy is getting brutally bullied September and currently. The last incident being on while we were in a meeting with the superintendent about her doing nothing to protect our son, he was hit in his classroom. The principal made the superintendent fully aware of what's going on. My son reported to Dr. Dewar. He had a stress ball in his hand in the meeting because he has had enough. He was getting, and he reportedly to the class. Dr. Dewar did not remove him because it would expose. She never made sure bullying plans and interventions were in place at East. She knowingly has let little kids get violently hurt and beat up for 5 months.
Because we're well over 2 minutes. You are, of course, welcome to leave it with us. And we can make sure that the rest of the committee gets a chance to read the rest.
No problem. Okay, I'll finish my thought. The little kids she is knowingly letting little kids get violently beat up and hurt at East Falmouth for her preschool agenda. The school committee's job is to make sure Lori Dewar did her job of making sure that the bullying plans were implemented at East. We have lived firsthand that this was not done. Our entire school system is broken from the very top down. I call for the immediate resignation of Lori Dewar and immediately remove Kelly Welch. Enough is enough. My child is getting hurt, enough is enough.
Is there anyone else for public comment? Come on down, have a seat.
All right, my name's Kevin Rottler. I'm here to shed some more light. That was my son who's been bullied for 5 months, shedding some light on the negligence and non-compliance of the school administration. Of course, Mass General Law, Chapter 71, Section 370, school bullying is prohibited. Bullying prevention and intervention plans, reporting of bullying incident date. All this is also in the bullying prevention and intervention plan for the school district of Falmouth. And if I can just definition of bullying, which Finn has been bullied, is the repeated use by one or more students by a member of the school staff, including but not limited to cause physical or emotional harm to the victim or damage to the victim's property, places the victim in reasonable fear of harm to himself or damage to his creates a hostile environment at school for the victim, infringes on the rights of the victim at school, materially or substantially disrupts the educational process or the orderly operation of the school. All of this has occurred, and again, school administration has been non-compliant. Is a situation in which bullying causes the school environment to be permeated with intimidation or insult that is sufficiently severe or pervasive to alter the conditions of the student's education. That has absolutely 100% happened to my son. Of course, you should all be familiar with this. Also, in the Falmouth Public School District's policy manual, there is bullying prevention. The school committee is committed to providing a safe, positive, and productive educational environment where students can achieve the highest academic standards. No student shall be subject to harassment, intimidation, bullying, or cyberbullying. Again, bullying is repeated use by one or more students or school staff members of a written, verbal, electronic expression, physical gesture, act, combination thereof. Causes physical or emotional harm to the target or the target's property.
All right, that's 2 minutes. Is there anyone else for public comment?
We gotta do better. This is embarrassing.
Hello.
Bill Worker. As you continue to hear growing calls for Lori Durr's resignation, I would like for all of you to think about how we got here in the first place. For years now, Dr. Durr has failed to provide well thought out and well communicated plans. Because of this, parents have been left with uncertainty about their children's education, and you as committee members have been left listening to others' concerns, disappointments, anger, and frustration from parents and community members. In addition, I know firsthand of district workers and educators who share the same frustrations but are afraid to speak out. All the while, Kelly Welch has served in some form of leadership on this committee for years and has continued to blindly support this administration by twisting and spinning the narrative to make it sound like everything is just fine. It seems that some of you joined the committee with the express purpose of supporting Kelly Welch and Lori Durr and have not once spoken out against them. For the first our look at request on the agenda. She's told you that you can't respond to an email sent to silencing your voice. In fact, Kelly Welch and her evaluation committee have even changed the rules deciding which comments are included, so there's no way for a true sole dissenting opinion to make it on the summative evaluation. It is ultimately controlled by her and her cronies. What's worse is that some of you have blindly followed her all along the way. Instead of having issues and discussing concerns and daring to take a different stand, you have followed Kelly Welch meeting after meeting, vote after vote, never daring to just think for yourselves. Honestly, it's embarrassing. There are 9 of you on this committee. That should mean 9 different voices during discussions, not just one. It is time for you as members to insist that your voice is not only heard, but that it means just as much as the chairperson's. It's time for you to request Kelly Welch to step down as chair or for her to just do the right thing and volunteer to do it. Stop blindly following this chair and the superintendent. Stop simply kissing the ring. Think like a rational, educated member of this committee and stop embarrassing yourselves with your
That's 2
unyielding
minutes, though.
support. We are watching
Is there
every
anyone
vote.
else?
We are watching every vote you make.
Okay, we're moving on to an update from the Wampanoag tribe. Do we have anyone to promote?
No, oh wait, no, we want extension.
Oh, Kitty, come on, yeah, there we go. Kitty's here. Can you, promote Kitty, and promote Kitty, please? Okay. Yeah, no worries. There we go. Hi, Kitty, welcome. If you can go off mute, and if you feel like turning on your video, we'd love to see you and
Okay. Whoops.
joining us. Update.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Kitty Hendricks Miller, Mashpee Wampanoag Tribe Indian Education Coordinator. I am doing report on what has been our involvement in Falmouth Public Schools so far the last couple months. We've got some activity at Morse Pond School. Darius Coombs is presenting there in a lunch bunch group. Right now he's got about 10 boys, both 5th and 6th graders. He did a whole school orientation to kind of let whole staff know why he was there, what his goals were for Native students. And so far they've been there's a sharing in the orientation about history, Wampanoag history, culture, and the people. And also he's got activities, cultural activities, which include videos and also, I guess, trips to the gym. And then he's also over at the Lawrence School, and I don't know which day that is, but he has good involvement over there as well, student participation. What's good about the Lawrence interaction is that it involves the non-native students because they're all, learning together. And he did a really nice artifact presentation, which Tom Bushy took a lot of photos, and they looked like the kids were having a good time with all the animal furs, learning about 17th century Wampanoag life, and that aligns with the frameworks as well for history and social studies. And so that's been ongoing since January. Besides that, it's pretty quiet with my cultural presentations until March, which I will be visiting the different elementary schools, participating in our cultural community. And then in the spring, our visits to Waquite Bay, which include many of the Falmouth public schools that learn about the estuary, life on the estuary, and Wampanoag Circle of Life. So right now, that's just about all of my involvement with Indian Ed and Falmouth Public Schools. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Can I ask you one additional question? Because I follow the tribe on Facebook, I saw the posting for the training that you offer for teachers.
Oh, yes.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but I would love if you could share about that.
Yeah, I was going to look that up. It's actually, it's pretty much been very popular. I believe it's a hybrid. There's about 22 in-person attendees, and there are a few from Falmouth. And each section, they're starting out with, of course, history. But it was very popular last year when we presented, and each year it grows. So there's different presentations with different cultural speakers, cultural keepers that come during each class to present. And I apologize, I don't have the schedule of the different.
Oh, no, I just think it's great to share that information because, teachers can't, getting the firsthand information directly from you and your program improves the way that they can communicate about it with their kids. So I just wanted to give it a shout out.
It's a great way actually for teachers to get a huge, hands-on knowledge, interacting with the different culture keepers that present, and they're all very well-known, historians and members of the tribe. So I think it's a really good way to break in if you don't know much about the Wampanoag people and if you're new to the area. So it's been very, very, very successful so far. So
Thank you.
for bringing that up.
As well. Any questions? Yeah, Katrina, we have one question for you.
Sure.
I was having a hard time hearing at the beginning. Who is doing the brunch and the stuff at Lawrence? I missed the meeting.
The lunch bunches are being presented by Darius Coombs, and he's our cultural outreach contract person. And I went last year to Morris Pond in Lawrence, but it's really hard to keep up, and it's great to have a second person, and he connects really well with the boys, and that's really important for the Morris Pond kids, because that's really all that came to the lunch bunches. And of course, Lawrence is just, work in progress, just every time, just trying to be a presence there. I guess we hung our flag, our tribal flag, and that was a success, and it's what I like about the Lawrence is that it's the interaction with the native and non-native students. So it's all inclusive, because, these kids are going to be sitting on, these committee meetings as adults, and it's the more they know about each other, the better early on. So.
Yeah.
Margaret. Well, no, I want to say something different. If anyone's interested, on Friday night, there'll be a program at Wampanoag at a museum on the green. I think it's at 7:30.
Oh, right. Yes.
Want to share something about that, Kate?
And who is that? Who is that doing that presentation? I believe it's Leslie Jonas from Hui. I think there's just so much going on. I didn't think of looking into all that, but something that I do want to mention is the Honor the Earth Fair, which was very well attended last April. And let me look it up. Well, there will be flyers going out for that. And we'll have presentations from different institutions like Hui, Wakwhite Bay. There's a cooking contest. There's just a lot of really nice presenters that attend that. And it's open to the public, and it's at our tribal center. And I probably should have had that too. And it's presented by the Native Land Conservancy. I'm just getting it right now for you because.
Yeah, that sounds great. We would, I would love to have information about that, because I'm sure we have members who would like to attend.
Yes.
I would like to attend.
I have the flyer.
Oh, great.
Oh, good. Thank you. I'm not very well equipped tonight.
Well, you have so many things going on, so.
There's a lot for sure, but it would be great to see some of you come and taste the food for the cooking contest.
Yeah, I would love that.
And Kitty, you mentioned the flag at Lawrence, and we're so proud of this. I have a picture of it here. I'm gonna show the school committee members the picture of the flag, because it's huge. It's in our cafeteria. We're so proud of it.
Oh, it's in the cafeteria?
Yeah, so I'm gonna pass it around so they actually get to see it.
Okay, thank you, Lori, very much.
You're welcome.
Any last questions?
Just the program with Darius, is that you said that has been ongoing since January. Is that
Right.
this month or last January?
January 2025.
But he did do it last year as well.
Oh, no, I did it last year.
You were doing it
Yeah.
last year.
Mhm. Yeah, and we started in January as well.
Oh my gosh, it's huge.
It is. It's wonderful.
Oh, that's great.
I can't believe you
Sorry,
got that big
passing
flag up
around the
there.
flag.
And does it run through June? Is that how long?
I don't, I can find that out for you. Probably the end of May, because that's when he stopped his lunch bunches last year in Mashpee, because he did them in Mashpee last year.
Oh,
But he was available, and I figured, let's just do a little more this year, and maybe, add more and more days, more opportunities.
Well, thank you for adding us to his schedule, because it sounds like the kids really love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for hopping on and sharing all your wonderful news with us. And if you find the flyer for Honor the Earth, we would love to attend. So
Yeah, I'll share that with Sharon right away.
That would be great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good night.
Take care.
Take care.
All right, next up is our nurses. Come on, hold yourself up. We're already done. Good, great, just, we'll get 4 seats right up here in the front.
Oh.
Yep, right here at the table.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. If you can't pull up, that's fine.
I have them on my phone, so I can
Mine printed some of this. Oh, yes. Just make sure I have the same page, right?
You guys are amazing. You printed the slides.
Oh, yes.
Thank you for that.
Do you want one?
I have a copy.
And when I read them, I had to turn my computer sideways. Had it balanced.
Yeah.
Is there another agenda tonight?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have a, thank you, sir. That's what I want, thank you, sir.
The agenda, not the program.
The lowest over there.
It follows your voice. So if I talk, it'll turn.
Yeah, we do. Oh, I'm gonna show my kids. I like it. I really like
I can share.
They say to record.
I'll go check that out, but I haven't.
Would you have to find out just like this? I know.
Now, this is talking about how you love it.
Try it.
I always have to do like that texting stuff, I always add stuff. Text it
There we go.
to
That's promising.
I didn't hear what you said, I just heard her response. Nope, never mind. As soon as I said it, that's how it works, that's how it works.
Beautiful. Thank you. All right. Oh, good. I can read. Hi, I'm gonna introduce myself. I'm Lynn Duchette. I'm one of the nurses at Falmouth High School. And I'm Katie McGill, I'm the nurse at East Falmouth Elementary School. Two more nurses with us.
Yeah, totally nurse at North Town. Sharon O'Connor, nurse at Falmouth High School, and the nurse coordinator for the district.
So we are really excited to be able to share that we are putting on a health fair this year. I started with Falmouth District in 2021.
And this is the first time we're doing a health fair, and it's going to be March 27th in the Falmouth High School Fieldhouse, open to all Falmouth Public Schools students and families. Let's see if I just hit this. Yes, so like I said, our target audience will be students and families. We're excited because this really came out of an idea. We wanted to, well, we feel like we're lucky to be in a district where there's an emphasis on the importance of school health services and health awareness in our kids. And I feel really lucky to be a part of this school community because I really do feel like that's important, and I do feel valued as a school nurse. We have so much education and training that goes into keeping us up to date and keeping us quality healthcare providers, and we wanted to share that with the community. We also are hoping, when we look at so many quality improvement measures throughout the year, we look at how many of our kids have access to healthcare, how many of our kids are compliant with immunization requirements. And we want to increase those numbers. We want to be at 100%. We do very well as a district, but we would love it if we could be perfect. We also want to increase our equitable health services, our connections. We want to make more FaceTime connections with the families that we maybe don't get to see a lot. And really just showcase all of the amazing resources that we have and that we use all the time in the health offices. We do, one of the reasons I love school nursing, and I don't want to speak for all my nurses, but I know one of the reasons that all of us love school nursing is that it encompasses this kind of public health perspective. So we really want to, we really want to show families that there's like other resources that are public health that are available in Falmouth and that are, you know, we use as resources and that they have available to them, but if they don't know about it, they can't use it, so.
I love that you guys can like finish each other's sentences.
We are a close-knit group.
Yes.
We are. We did some research going into this about health fairs, why they're important, whether or not people do seek out health services afterwards, and the research does show that health fairs can make a positive impact on the community. We also did research about how, like I said, how many kids have access to healthcare in the state of Massachusetts and in Falmouth, Franklin County, et cetera, to try to beef up those numbers. Oh no, this was the original presentation. I apologize. I had,
oh, if we've got the right one.
You've got the, yeah, I phoned in my school committee one just to, this was like, we had a ton of ideas and we had to kind of tone it down.
Do you want a copy to like make some highlights?
That's okay, I have it on here, I have it on my phone, just because I wanted to let you know the community partners that we were able to secure. So the people that you can expect to see at the health fair will be the VNA of Cape Cod. They provide immunizations to the community, to kids under 18 for free, whether or not they have health insurance. Barnstable County's public health nurse will be there. Cape Cod Hospital Public Health Nursing Division will be there. The Falmouth Service Center, Sharing Kindness, and the high school's Hope Squad will be there. Our Hidden in Plain Sight van will be there for parents, not students. Falmouth Police Department, Team Maureen and the Vaccine Confidence Project, Fresh Market Farm in Falmouth, the Community Action Committee of Cape Cod and the Islands, Cape Kids Meals, Four Seas Dental Program, and Falmouth Feeding Services. So those are all community partners that have committed to being there and talking with students and families about what they do. Some of the services provided by the community partners, I don't think I have that up here, are skin cancer education. There's going to be UV analyzer screening. It's really cool in March to learn that before prom season, because I know all the seniors like to hit the tanning nest before prom. But it's fun for us. You can see how much UV damage has been done to your skin over all the years we've had analyzing, if you're brave enough. Tick information booth, lots of information about tick and how those ticks and how the diseases are spread. It's important on the Cape, free immunizations, the clinics will be there, providing information about that. There will be Mass Health connectors there that can help people enroll in Mass Health. We're also,
Plans if they're
Yeah.
like having trouble with like their local
Yeah.
pediatrician or PCP.
so he'd be able to actually sit down and sign up right then and there. Same as we're going to have some people helping with Power School access and helping people that maybe have had trouble. I know we've done some, you guys have put on some programs where people can come here and do that with administration, so it's another opportunity for families to do that. They'll be able to sign up for SNAP benefits through some of our food assistance programs, things like that. So we really, like I said, wanted to connect people that there'll be mental health resources as well. Also, all of our school nurses will be sharing, like I said, some of that awesome education and training that we've received and passing it on to the community. We'll be doing stop the bleed presentations, asthma inhalers, EpiPens, anaphylaxis, nutrition presentations, physical activity presentations that I'm really excited about because they're going to be student led. We have students from all of the schools in the district that are going to come help and show what they do in the schools all the time that are part of our like physical activity and wellness initiatives as a district. So I'm really excited for them to be able to show parents what they're doing throughout their school year. Also, we have a lot of seniors, we have a lot of high schoolers who are going to be volunteering and helping and possibly some involvement from the health and PE classes, putting on student presentations and leading some booths. Also, I have some, it's not on here, because it's an old one. This, I wonder if you printed it before I added it, because I added it today, but it's okay. You'll see it at the fair, the map. Yes, we have graphic design kids who are helping us with our flyers and our map and our promotional materials and our signage, and they are coming out unbelievable, and I'm really excited for you guys to see it because I am blown away. I have given the student minimal information about what I want and like magically makes it appear. I'm blown away.
Within 20 minutes.
So I'm super excited for you to see the work that he has done. His name is Ryder Hart. If you're watching, Ryder, you're amazing. So this is serious future in graphic
If he's watching,
design.
that's impressive. No offense, but I might be a little nervous for Ryder.
He's amazing. He does awesome graphic design work, and I'm sure there are many other students who you will get to see their work and the awesome stuff that they do related to health and wellness in the school. So are there any questions that you guys have for us? Sue?
First of all, thank you very much for your comments regarding the school system. And perhaps we can give Ryder a little credit in regards to the enterprise or any other media thing wants to show his flyer between now and March 27th. That would be helpful in getting the word out. And as well, perhaps you want to talk to the athletic director who's here this evening in regards to introduction of some of our competitive and intramural sports that are offered.
The athletic director has been awesome to help allow us to use the field house. I know that day is spring, often a lot of sports need to move inside, so I'm hoping for good weather that day. If not, there may be a lot of athletes.
There'll be a lot of things that they can carry and
Yes.
lift and move.
You'll get to see firsthand what's going on in the
Well,
spring.
thank you for your presentation. This is really awesome.
Small gyms available.
Volunteer work.
You know, I remember when you first brought the idea to the wellness committee, it's very impressive how you've really built this up. And the school committee members will be, at least some of us will be there with our school committee shirts on, and we're real proud of what you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
really
It's so positive and helping so much with all of your feedback. Thank you.
And I just love the whole community aspect of it, that kids don't feel like, you know, they're the ones that have to be healthy, we're all coming, so it's a family affair.
Oh, sorry.
I just have two quick questions. Has there ever been, when was the last health fair? Do you know when that was? Not
I do
since,
not
not since
remember when.
COVID.
Oh, no, I don't remember there. Oh, so do you remember one?
No, but VIPS, at one point had, in conjunction with their elementary track meet,
Oh,
a separate section that was an abbreviated
Yeah,
healthcare.
nothing like this, though, so this might be the very first.
And then my other question was, well, not, I guess it's a question. I'm really glad you're having the health connector, the Mass Health Connector there. I know personally, and I know a lot of people who have fallen out of coverage because Tufts Health Direct is no longer, or Children's Hospital is no longer taking Tufts. And I'm wondering, since this is in March and coverage ends between January 1st and 30th, is there anything you can direct people to, or tell us how to direct people to get?
In the meantime?
In the meantime, like if they can't go sit down with a Mass Health Connect representative, then they're gonna lose their coverage now.
Yeah, I actually just sent out like a, to a different parent today, an email, about it, but there's a phone number that you can call. I don't have my work computer with me, but I can, email it to the school committee email address, but, Falmouth Human Services, they're connected with the, community action. So
Yeah, the Community Action Committee of Cape Cod is the umbrella under which they have a bunch of different programs, but one of them is related to the health insurance. That's not that obvious.
So there's like a direct number that.
If anyone has any questions in the meantime, you can direct them to their school nurse. Or always.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
The gatekeepers of all of
The
this.
That's why we wanted to put it out there for you so that people could kind of put a face to us and all the people that we connect them with.
Yeah, and we did work with like the DEI, people so we know like the 5 main languages, so everything that we're passing out will be in the, 5 languages. And there's translators that are coming, for families and things.
That's awesome. That's very. Melissa, what you got?
Thank you. Thank you for everything that you do every day. Thank you for this health fair. I think that it's I don't want to say long overdue because I feel like that's like a backhanded compliment, but I'm super excited. I will also be going to attend. I think that it's super important to let not just our kids know that, we're there for the Tylenol and the 20-minute rest and the saltine if you're nauseous kind of thing, but also for our families to know everything that you do, and it's not just, put a Band-Aid, here's a baggie of ice kind of thing. But that's just the yeoman's work of nursing, I think. So you don't hear it enough. Thank you, and thanks for coming tonight.
Yes, thank you for sharing it with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, Todd, come on down. FEF isn't here tonight, they're unable to make it, so we're gonna jump into presentation of the athletics department. It's a good segue, it's related.
So, I've been asked to.
Oh my gosh, I skipped you. I'm so sorry. Nobody can help you.
Thank you. It's halftime of the girls' basketball. Can't get back.
No, right. Okay, go for it, and then we'll go backwards.
So I've been asked to come and kind of recap the fall season and kind of how we're starting the winter. So I'll go through the fall and how it went, and then how we're doing this winter so far. And so, so in sports now, there's a thing called power rankings. All the so-called major sports get ranked based on their wins, losses, strength of schedule, margin of victory, all this stuff. So in the fall, the 4 major sports that get ranked in the power rankings, 4 of our 5 major sports: field hockey, boys and girls soccer, volleyball, football. Field hockey made the tournament, or I don't think they've ever not made the tournament. They won a tournament game at home, and then they eventually lost the next game to the eventual state champion Watertown. So another successful year for field hockey. Volleyball had one of its highest rankings, I believe, in history, ranked 20th. They went to number 13 Norton in the tournament, lost that one. Girls soccer went 10-7-1. They made the state tournament. They lost at Dayton Rehoboth. Boys soccer hosted a first-round tournament game against Essex Tech. Won that one, went to Dedham, lost to Dedham, who ended up being in the state Final Four. So football had a move up in their ranking, from last year. We started Lawrence football team, which is a huge, it was amazing. We thought we were all set. We had signups, we had we had equipment for like 40 something kids. We had like 20 something say they were gonna play. We had to like borrow from the high school and stuff. We had like 50 students come. So the football numbers are increasing with that crew there. Our boys golf team had the most kids they've ever had. So we had a full JV schedule, full varsity schedule, and a practice squad. So there's so many kids. So Falmouth Country Club's been great to us. They had their golf pro there twice a week would take the kids. One of their assistant pros would take the kids who weren't on one of those two teams and take them out and show them things and practice with them. Our unified team, amazing. That if you haven't been to the honor guard game that they run the first game, you gotta check it out. It's awesome. The honor guard comes and the kids get announced and all the athletic teams come and we take time off of practice that day, and whoever doesn't have a game, and they all come to the stands. It's a pretty amazing event. It's my favorite event of the fall. Cross country, I saved them for the end because our girls team traditionally has really struggled with numbers. So the last few years, you need 5 to score in a meet, and we've had less than 5 most times. So this year they actually had a quality squad, went 3-2 in the league. So that was a big, there's a lot of younger girls running, so that is starting to come. And our boys won the regular season title at 5-0, won the league championship meet. Silas Gardner, one of ours, won the state championship. He was named Division II Athlete of the Year in cross country in all of Massachusetts. He went out to San Diego, California and ran in the national top 40 runners in the country. So huge accomplishment by them. Doc Harris, Mr. Cross Country over here, is very excited that our cross country team is cross country school. He's like, we're cross country school now. The winter season started off well. Our boys basketball team started off 9-0. They dropped their last 2. They're up in Nauset right now. It was 7-point game at halftime. So they're ranked 24 in the power rankings. The top 32 make the tournament. Girls basketball is at 5-8 right now. They're at 37, so they're just on the outside. With the strength of schedule, we have a lot of tough games coming up, so I think they might be able to sneak in the end of that 32. Boys hockey, 6-8, they're ranked 19. Their coach loves scheduling. Our schedule is tough, so we could probably go like 8-14 and probably still make the top 32 by the strength of schedule. And girls hockey 7-5, they're ranked 6th at the moment. Winter track, our boys finished the regular season at 4-2. Our girls finished the regular season at 3-3. Their league meet is this Saturday at Reggie Lewis. So they'll do that this weekend. Then that in track, the kids that qualify go on. So the dual meets are ending at this point. Some news, we're looking for our boys tennis coach, just decided to move on. He got offered a job a couple hours away. He can't make the commitment, so that job got posted this week. And our field hockey coach has decided that I think she wants to have a year where she doesn't coach for the first time in her 10-year career. So both those jobs are posted. Dr. Harris and I are starting to work on questions that will be at those interviews, kind of to be what we're looking for as our athletic department. We kind of talked about that last time I was here, about how we really want to hold the kids accountable. We really want to push them, but we want to do it in a way that we want to love them first and we want to be tough on them second. And that, I've seen instances of that happening all through all through our sports teams. Tonight, for example, our girls basketball senior night, our coach Bob Busher goes and he has 8 seniors and 7 were eligible to play tonight. One was hurt has a hurt thumb, so he talks to the other team, he talks to the referees. He has 7 seniors get announced. The girl with a thumb goes to do the tap, tips it. They blow the whistle, 2 kids come off the court, then Nauset gets the ball, so that was our penalty. But so he thinks and processes that whole thing to make sure that those seniors all got announced in the starting lineup. So there's a lot of stuff like that happening. We had a pep rally the other day, our girls hockey coach texted me at 9 o'clock at night, Todd, we forgot about the 3 8th graders on the team. Can we get them over here? So I'm texting Tom Bushy at 9:30 at night, and I'm driving over in the school utility bus to pick them up the next day. And they're all fired up, and I'm bringing them into the gym with 700 kids in the gym going, okay, we got 8th graders that are seeing this, hopefully they're coming to Falmouth High School next year. So there's all kinds of stuff like that happening, like our boys hockey team. They went and sang at Royal McGantic Nursing Home. One of the kids dressed up as Santa Claus in the holidays. They recently had that game to benefit Tommy's Place, where they have a family. They have a family come. The family that's staying in the house comes to the game, and they recognize the young gentleman drops the puck. So they had him in the locker room before the game, and the kid was doing like some dance or something. So they couldn't do it justice. So then we score a goal in the game, and the players knew where the kid was sitting, and they skated over like in front of him and did the same dance. So there's that's just we hear about all the rough stuff that's going on and all the things, but there's a lot of things like that happening. So of course we want to win games and we want to do those things, and we are pretty successful in that aspect, but there's a lot more going on in there also. So questions?
Thank you, I appreciate
Yes.
the highlight on that. Tara?
Recently, we were discussing, I forget what situation, the number of student athletes that we have.
She's stealing your thunder.
Yes.
Oh,
She was
she
gonna
found
report it,
out.
yeah.
Forget I asked.
Let's jump to it.
Don't we have a really good percentage of?
Yeah, we're up around 40% about our students that.
No, share.
You got
She got
exactly,
some data.
you got exact
I
data?
got the
It
exact data.
came up at our last meeting.
Asking, so in our fall sports, 64%
Yeah,
of our
yeah.
students were on honor and high honor.
Yeah.
And just want to say honor roll starts at 3.0 and high honor says 3.6. That's pretty impressive. And then the winter sports, we have 60%. And my understanding is what I was told is that is higher than the state and the national. So I just, I was going to do it as a highlight tonight because one of the school committee members brought it up, asked, yes. And I thought, that's a great question to ask. And I mean, it's impressive. We know that kids are connected to school when they play sports, but the fact that they're not just connected to school. I mean, these are our honor students that are playing. So that it's impressive. It's impressive we have them. So.
There's the kids now that we have right now, amazing. Like I watched the evolution just in a year of being there. From my first pep rally last October, I'm like, and Dr. Harris is like, this is better. And I'm like, really? But we just ran a pep rally and he's sitting back like he is right now. And you had a band student with his bell leading a cheer. Running the whole place is going, and he's got this grin on his face because that's what he was doing to get it started a little while ago. But so it's the kids are taking a lot of ownership now of things, and we had a pep rally where we had the athletes do academic tasks and like all the academic teams do athletic tasks. So like you had like the athletes out there and there was like a Jeopardy game, they had to run over and show this table their answer. And then we had another one, crazy one where like kids are doing wheelbarrows and shooting baskets and all these things, and that was the athletes were like wheelbarrowing a academic kid who's going through and stuff. It was fun. So there's all that's trying to make that connection for everybody to.
The fact that you two gave the space for the kids to do it, because they've been asking for years in the student advisory, it always comes to the top. We want fun, engaging, you know, pep rallies, and the fact that you two did that, you listened and you gave it, I hear it all the time. That is, you know.
We had robots.
They enjoy it.
The robots, the robots were out there moving around.
Did you finish your question? We jumped to, did you have?
No, that's fine. So regardless, they're student athletes, though, the fact that we offer something for kids to keep them engaged in school, I mean, it's wonderful that we can offer so many different sports. I think it's great. We have great athletic programs.
Ditto, Terry, in regards to there's so many kids that athletics keep them in school.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so I wanted to thank you in regards to the 7th and 8th grade program. It was awesome. It was awesome being there. There was excitement on the sidelines, like I remember from way back when. But those 50 kids now, as they move forward, do we have a freshman team anymore?
No, but the numbers were, we have a JV team, so when I got here, we had a freshman team, but we were having to steal like 8th graders to waiver 8th graders up to make that happen. And the numbers, it wasn't as successful because they were like coming over, they didn't feel connected. So we met as a football program, we thought like, if we're gonna have 3 teams, if we were already taking those 8th graders, let's try to make a Lawrence team be kind of like take the place of our freshman team almost. And then have a JV team and a varsity team. So I think the numbers will precipitate that. I think at this point, being the size school we are, to have 3 teams there and the Lawrence team, I don't think that would work out. And it turns out that there's actually a thriving middle school football league that I literally joined and they gave us 8 games. So it's like,
awesome.
There's like 3 middle schools in Brockton, Randolph, the Vineyard, Mashpee, us. So we played 2 different Brockton schools. We played Randolph home and away, Martha's Vineyard home and away, and Mashpee home and away.
Yeah,
So
I was in a good portion of the games. It
yeah.
was a lot of fun and the kids are enjoying it
Yeah, it's
immensely.
great.
And I just hope as they move forward, this will be an incentive for the kids to go to Falmouth High School as well.
Yeah, they had their like first, like a quarterback club meeting of the new year at the booster club, and a bunch of those 8th grade parents were in attendance.
Great.
So that's a good sign that they're gonna get involved in moving forward.
Awesome, thank you.
So.
Thanks. Any last questions? I do. Melissa, I have a handful of questions, not all necessarily related. When is the sailing conference championship banner going to be raised in the field house?
So at the moment, those banners have not been updated in a while, and they're kind of haphazard. So my plan is to, over the next few years, update all the banners. So instead of buying a banner that will be up there haphazardly, to try to organize that whole thing. Because if you go in there now, they're all up in the rafters. We've been in like 5 different leagues over the last bunch of years. Like it says over there, you're the OCL champion, and it says over there, you're the Atlantic League champion. It says over there, you're a Cape and Islands League champion. And I think just to take them all and have banners that say like sailing league champions, it doesn't matter what league you're in, the year that it was. We've done an inventory of what's up there. Actually, I'll give a shout out to Mr. Femino, gym teacher. One day he was in gym class and his kids were playing something, and so he's created a whole spreadsheet of what's on there. So, you know, it's hard because technology is kind of a newer thing. So there's some gaps there that we're working on. Carol, assistant is working on creating like, taking all of our, like if you go in the offices, there's these stacks of the end of season reports that have never been like entered into, to have like a total spreadsheet. So we're doing that. So instead of getting a haphazard banner, so it might take a little bit, but my vision is that when you go in that wall along the weight room, we'll have like against it all the championship banners instead of the felt one from 1977 that's dusty and no one can see up there.
Right.
So 1977, we'll get on there. What?
I know there's been some families asking because I guess the FA has their banner up, so there's a little, you know, friendly banter.
We haven't, just to be clear, we have not hung championships for a while.
Yes.
And so in my time as principal, there's been multiple championships, none of them have gone up yet.
Sure.
Primarily because of exactly that.
Yes.
So
And
it is
most
on the docket, it is part of that, I know
Right.
positive work with the Hall of Fame group and that plan, but
situation.
I do wanna make sure that group knows, it isn't as if we're only excluding.
No, I don't think anybody thinks
Okay,
that.
yeah.
I'm just asking, I'm just the vessel to ask the
Yeah.
question. And you already answered my next question about your be coming back after winter season to kind of give a update on if there were any, how they did through playoffs.
Sure.
So then my next question is, speaking of, when you mentioned the tennis coach and the field hockey coach and that you and Doc Harris are gonna be, you've sort of come up with some new questions for hiring. I know previously, I assume previously that the athletic director was the primary person who did the hiring. How does that look year after year? So say I am the girls soccer coach, I've been the girls soccer coach since 19 whatever. Are you automatically grandfathered in? Is there an evaluation process? During that process, are there evaluations from not just the coach, like not just yourself and Doc Harris, but from families, from athletes? What does that process look like?
So the way the contract reads now is that you have a month after the season to recommend whether they would be getting dismissed. It's not like a normal, like teacher contract or contract like that. So during that month, we meet with them, we have a process where I meet with them, I go through things, go over things, and go through that. We're in the process of coming up with those other ideas of, I just reached out to, I heard a school that does they send like a Google form to their athletes after the season about kind of their experience. So we're editing that at the moment, trying to come up with our kind of thing for them. It's more now I talk to kids and I kind of go through the hallway and I try to get, it's pretty clear sometimes, like, you have a complaint and you'll have praise. I try to find the kids that I haven't really heard from. So I go walk the hall, I'm like, hey, this kid plays football and lacrosse and this, like, how's your experience between me? Oh yeah, this is like so a kid that like might not, try to get their experience with it.
Sure.
So that's what I'm looking for most of the time. But yeah, so the basic thing is that at a month after the season, you have the ability to, if something happened and it's egregious, you let them go. If not, if we feel like, I know we're gonna bring you back, I've had conversations, we're gonna bring you back, but we have to work on X, Y, and Z.
Sure. So like any position, any,
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
so if there's, a lot of times, a lot of times the coach has done a decent job and they are coming back.
Sure.
But if it's not, we have conversations about that. Some of them are so reflective, like some of the things you talked about, some of the coaches do on their own. Like I know our girls soccer coach like gives a survey to her players and then like takes that and then meets with them individually and talks to them about like.
That sounds like a model plan.
Yeah, so what do you mean by this, like, type of thing, and then she met with, at the end of the season, they had picked kind of their leaders for the next year, and she met with them, like, how do you think this is what they said, how do you think we can address this and working forward? And then she shared with me, like, this is what they're saying, what do you have any ideas? So it was like, a lot of my conversations are kind of like that with them, like, what do you think about this? This is what, they're bringing questions to me cause I'm at pretty much every game, so they can.
Great, I think that answers all the things. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, a long time ago, you mentioned your favorite event, I think you said it was in the fall, and you said we should come.
Yeah.
Would you send us an invitation?
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you.
Oh, that would be great, the unified basketball,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah.
was it unified basketball or honor, what's that, the honor?
Well, unified basketball brings the honor
They bring
card
the
to
honor.
me.
Okay, I missed what sport it was.
Yeah, that would be great.
So send us an invitation.
Stick that in the back, file that back to invite us.
have about 5 games, so it's usually in October at some point, yeah, so I don't know if that schedule is
That's okay.
getting worked on as the fall, believe it or not, the fall scheduling, I can tell you our football schedule already. Fall scheduling is like February, so.
The thing Todd and Coach Fimino did for the first time, our students in Unified received varsity runners. Or athletes.
Send them to Jess, we need them.
You got it.
Thank you so much, thanks for the update, we appreciate it.
Go Clippers, hopefully.
Go Clippers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you. Okay, Sandy, I'm sorry, I skipped you the first time.
Right. I just wanted to give a couple of updates or highlights. So kindergarten registration has started this week at all of the elementary schools. And next week, we will begin our registration process for the integrated preschool program. There will be some changes though for preschool updates. So as we had talked about in the fall, the tuition will be free for all the 3 and 4-year-olds. So we'll be communicating with our local providers this week just to convey the plans. We've had a couple of meetings with them as time has gone along, and just to explain, what the process is going to be. We do have a limited number of slots that will be open in the programs because we will be giving the current students will have priority for returning this year. So that's to be considered. And then just it's important for families to note that this process will be a first come, first served basis. So we'll have something in the newspaper on Friday, and then we'll have something on the website as well, but on Monday, officially, everyone will have the same opportunity to apply to the program. So that's that. And just as a reminder, a question always comes up about transportation, and we do not have transportation for the peers, so. Community partnerships. So I know Sharing Kindness came up earlier in the health presentation. We've been working with them as well. They have currently have a grant to support students who are struggling with grief. So there are some programs going on in the district called Grief 101 groups. So there's a program underway at the high school in West Pond, and the Lawrence School will soon to start their program. So this is a great way for our students to kind of meet together and talk about, what they're experiencing as far as grief goes. Another group that we've been working with is APG, or the Alternative Peer Group, which some people might be familiar with in town. So it's another nonprofit group in Falmouth. They have a 6-month program for Cape Cod teens struggling with substance abuse challenges. So this is a voluntary program for kids 13 to 17 years old. So we had our school adjustment counselors from the Lawrence and the high school go. I went along as well for a little presentation over at APG. So that was good to do. And then one more partnership. I was working with Falmouth Human Services, who connected us with Eliza Morrison from the support group of Cape Cod to present a presentation for the high school students, opioid overdose recognition and response using Narcan.
So the presentations haven't been scheduled yet for when those are going to occur at the high school, but it will be very soon. I was able to get an overview and see the slides, and I actually learned a lot of things myself. So it was some general education and harm reduction. They talked about accidental overdose, contaminated substances, what to look like in an overdose, and then basically the goal of Narcan. So anyway, those presentations will be scheduled soon at the high school. And then I think just the last thing I wanted to follow up on, I know at a recent meeting, there was some discussion about out-of-district placements, and it kind of made me think, well, does everybody actually know what programs we currently have in the district? So I just thought I'd give, just kind of a basic, quick overview. So we have, our obligation is to provide students their education in the least restrictive environment. And so students who are eligible for an individualized education program may have their services right in their general education classroom. They might have some services in the classroom, some out, or completely out of the classroom. And it's all, obviously, it's individually based on what they need. But then we do find some students need specially designed teaching opportunities in a specialized program. So we have the TIP program, which we've talked about before, the Therapeutic Intervention Program, and that's for preschool to fourth grade students, and that is primarily focused on students who qualify with the eligibility area of autism. So that program is obviously, just like all of the specialized programs, are really tailored to the academic materials, fit the needs of what the students need in the program. And maybe for the TIP program, they have more social language opportunities. And then we have the Learning Center, or the TLC, that's at North Falmouth for the elementary schools, that's K-4. And that program supports students who are found eligible with either a developmental delay or an intellectual impairment, and those are the terms that are used by DESE to determine eligibility. So the curriculum for those students is really focused on remediating a lot of their educational delays. And as we go kind of up the scale, for 5 to 12, there is, again, a learning center, and that can go 5 to 12 and post-secondary. So that's going to serve students who may be on the autism spectrum or have intellectual disabilities. So the lessons kind of shift as the students get older and could focus more on their functional academics, pre-vocational skills, vocational skills. At the high school, they could have more daily living, money, social skills. There's internships and jobs, focuses on safety. And then we also have the Connect program, which goes from kindergarten all the way up to post-secondary. And this program is for students who are found eligible with an emotional disability. So this program, again, is highly structured and focused specifically on what the students need. So I think overall, just thinking about our specialized programs, it's also important to note all the other related services that we have within the school system. So I think everybody knows we have, speech, OT, PT, we have the BCBAs, which are the board certified behavior analysts. And then for some students who might have visual impairments, we do contract out for a teacher with visually impaired who might help with orientation and mobility. We have contracts for teachers of the deaf who come in to support our students. And then also assistive technology is another area where we support students. So I think what I'm really trying to focus on is we have a lot of supports in the district, and we obviously want to, we want to try to have the students remain in the district as long as they're making effective progress. But at some point, for some students, they have a much higher level of need, and that's when we may have to look at an out-of-district placement. So just to kind of explain, there's a referral process for the out-of-district placements. DESE has approved programs, they could be public and private programs, and we try to consider obviously something that, again, least restrictive environment, as close to Falmouth as possible. But obviously, not everything is that close to Falmouth, so we do end up with students who could be in programs pretty far away from Falmouth. But the programs just offer a much more intensive supports than we're able to offer at the public school with specialized staff. They have smaller groups of students, the student to teacher ratios are tighter. And they're just, the programming is very different. So there's day schools, there are residential settings, there are therapeutic settings. So that's kind of, it's kind of like more of a general overview that I thought might be helpful. Because I think some people, throw around acronyms, the TLC, the TIP, the Connect, and people might be like, what is all of that actually? So, so that was super
That was a great description.
You answered ECEA for me too.
All right.
I've never known what that was.
Yeah, special education is full of acronyms, yes.
What was the
Analyst?
analyst? Okay.
Yeah.
That was a great explanation. Any questions for Cindy? Yeah, well, thanks.
Jumping back to the brief program.
Yes.
I actually was talking to one of the people who was coordinating that. She had mentioned that she thought it was perhaps one of the only ones in Massachusetts, the collaboration between a school system and a grief program. There's some innovation, making us the leader. And I was wondering, after it's up and running, if we could have a presentation about that?
I think they would love that.
Yeah, I certainly reach out to them.
Yeah.
Yep. It sounds very intriguing, but also very supportive. Like, so I think it would be very helpful to hear some of the work you do.
And that organization, Sharing Kindness, is also the ones who were a big part of training the Hope Squad at the high school. So I mean, they've been involved in obviously a lot of things.
And they've been here before, but they haven't spoken about that particular project, so.
And I think it's actually new, that project, so.
I'm sorry, were you, is that it, Leva?
Yes.
Okay.
So, do you know how many kids use the collaborative, for out of district placement?
I don't know the number off the top of my head. Obviously, there are out of district placements. We have, I'm not gonna use specific numbers, due to confidentiality.
Yeah, it isn't in numbers, it just, some people were sending us questions about the cost. And you gotta understand, sometimes equipment is necessary, sometimes smaller numbers are necessary. So I don't know if you wanna throw that on your presentation, it's just, what constitutes the cost, because
So there's a-
taxpayers,
So there's a tuition, just like you would have for any school, there's a tuition. And then the tuition does not include all of the other components that I had talked about, like speech, OT, PT, nursing.
And transportation.
And transportation, so there are all these other, it's kind of a la carte, so you have your bill for what it costs per month. But then if the student needs a one-to-one, then that's an additional fee. If they have any related services, that could be an additional fee. If they need nursing, if they need somebody to be on them with the transportation, if they need a nurse on that transportation because they have a seizure disorder, like there could be a multitude of additional costs that are added on for each of those times.
Yeah, no, it was questions from the public about our tax dollars and why they're so high. So I don't know if we could have something easy but readily available to explain it, because people do ask about that cost.
Well, there could be just the general cost of what the cost to go.
Or some
tuition
mitigating
would be, so to
factors
say,
that raise the cost.
right, for a collaborative placement. And we do work very closely with the Cape Cod Collaborative and, and obviously those are our first choices because, that's much closer to home, but sometimes the programs aren't exactly what the students need, so, yeah. And we also have to see when they have openings too, right? So, and that's another component. Margaret.
Just in terms of the refund, by the way, it's very interesting because it's been common knowledge that children don't grieve. So having a bereavement program for children is just essential. And I'm very glad we do that. But I do want to go back to the preschool. You said you're going to have do we have a mechanism in terms of, do we have a waiting list? Do we have a mechanism to maintain some waiting list in terms of how many children want or need preschool here?
Yes, so the application process, we do have an online process, so all of our applications will be time stamped. So that's where we'll figure out the first come, first served, and then that will generate our waiting list as well.
But once do we at some point say we're full, so we don't want any more, or do we keep?
Correct, yeah.
No,
Oh,
but I mean,
you mean for
do we keep it open so that if people are interested and need it, do we know how many people need it?
Basically does the even if it's full, can we just keep
Even if
that
it's
open?
full, you know,
So we'll know.
we still have a mechanism so that we can find out how many people in the local community need for the school.
We could, I don't think that we've done that in the past, but
right.
now that you're setting it up the way you are, about how, it would be easy to leave open and allow people to
And they
continue to put their name in,
I
and it
think
would
that-
be in order.
Right, and just to understand, right, it would, it might only, their ability to participate might only be accessible if we had to add an additional section due
Or
to
someone
our.
left,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
left
right.
for some reason, right, on the spot.
Will that be in Portuguese as well?
Yes.
If it's online?
And with that, do we know if people want transportation or the hours that they would like services?
So we have actually created some options for the preschool, so, the traditional, AM, PM sessions, but we have created a session that's more of a part day, so a 4-hour session, and then the full day session. So families, when they fill out the, application, that will have options, and they can choose which, as option 1 or option 2, so they get 2 choices, what would you prefer to have, and then we go that way.
Thank you.
Two things. I was wondering, also about the pre-K, do you have a number for not the typical peers, for the kids who do need transportation? Do you have, how many kids are gonna be in the program next year? Any idea?
You mean
The kids who
the
need.
special ed
Yes,
students?
the special ed
who,
students. Do you have a registration number for next year?
I think 38 might be the number of students that we already know would be coming back or returning students.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not
And however
100%
many-
positive, but I think it's 38.
However many we identify, somebody will have.
Okay.
And 3-year-olds continue, right, so that's
Yes,
and that's a rolling, right, for students with disabilities, so,
Then you might have more.
so we often get more this time of year.
Right. Okay. And then, the other question was, once they get, so I know you try to have typical peers when they're younger. Once they get to the high school age, is it a separate track, all these vocational programs, or are they integrated into normal classrooms still the way they're trying to do in pre-K, kindergarten?
Yep, so we still focus on the least restrictive environment. So a student may have some attachment to a specialized program like the Learning Center, but they may also have some skills that allow them to participate in some general education electives or something like that. And yes, that can still be a component of their school day. There could be, a student could have a specific learning disability in reading, but really excel in math. So they might have, specialized reading instruction, but then participate in all of their other classes, with any accommodations or modifications with all of their typical peers.
Okay, so not a separate vocational program, all the training, you were talking about,
Like the option, so vocational training, so
Yeah.
like for students who are going to.
like life skills. and all
Life
that
skills,
stuff.
right, but that would be for a student who needs that, opportunity.
That'd be like a one-on-one thing, not a general course, I guess.
Well, it could be finding that student an opportunity to have a vocational internship. But that internship probably would be one-on-one because there could be somebody from the high school supporting them when they go for on-the-job training. So for example, you might be teaching somebody how to ride the public transportation. We're gonna join them when they're learning to read the schedules and wait outside and get off the bus and, those kinds of things.
Okay.
Yeah, so very much. Great.
Fair. Do kids ever graduate without a special ed?
100%.
Good, okay, I.
100%, and in fact, so, and this is, that's why I said the continuum of services, so it's not, the goal is not that you go in and never come out, so
Yeah.
to say, the goal is always to provide the students with the skills and strategies they need, to to, do whatever, they could be in other programs. That's the same for out-of-district placement. So if a student requires an out-of-district placement, that be short-term.
Yeah. that's what I-
Until they're able to, get their skills in place, and then they can return to the public school. So
Yeah, I thought
nothing
so.
is ever,
I thought so, you just didn't mention it, so I said, if people do graduate out of this, that's great.
100%.
Thanks, Sandy. Oh, was that a question?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask them.
I know.
I know, I lied. Could you or could we take the website when the application goes live? Could we copy that link onto social media so it's more easily shareable in the community?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, that was the
Yeah.
plan, right. Yep,
Okay.
Yep.
That's it, thank you.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, thank you. Lots of great info. Okay, we're back on the back of the agenda. If you're keeping score, flip it over. Next up is acting on our fiscal year 26 budget in the amount of $61,424,654. It's the same as the presentation that we had at our last meeting and the same as in the public hearing. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thanks, Mike. Is there a second? Oh, that's Mike with the motion and Melissa is the second. I was told to be very clear, so Sharon can do it from home.
I got it,
And we're all here? Yes, we are. Is there any? Yeah, no one's zooming. Okay. No one's zooming in. Any last discussion on the fiscal year budget?
Yeah, can I just make one point, just given the changes that we've seen at the federal level. So I just want to make sure that people are aware that the budget that we're looking at, this $61,424,000, that we had straight lined our grants at 1.6 million. And obviously, there's been some challenge with the new administration that those grants may and may not be there next year. So this budget assumes that those grants will be there for next year. I just want to make everybody aware of that.
Okay, for that.
So-
Margaret.
And if they're not there?
Then we need a bigger budget. We would need something along the lines of 8.3% of the budget to handle this.
So 3% or so higher
Yeah,
than what we got.
But the whole country is in that same boat, right?
that's right.
Yes, we're actually probably better off with such a high percent of our budget goes from local.
I just take a minute.
Oh, yeah, please.
Thank the town and the collaboration that we've worked and then understood our needs. And, once again, just want to say thank you. And 5.5 is historic. And, but they saw the need for it and have supported us. So just wanted to throw that out again. And you-
I
you know,
appreciate
mentioned it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
They understood the need, so.
And hopefully it will be supported at town meeting as well.
Yeah.
Margaret.
Well, having been on the budget committee, first of all, thank you, Susan, for a year ago requesting we get information. And it's not because I don't trust anyone, but I think that anybody on this finance committee, we should sort of have local meetings about the budget so we have a better understanding. So when people ask us questions, we know what we're talking about. And I think that's so important. So in terms of moving forward on committees, being on the budget committee, not that that's my favorite thing.
It's my favorite thing. I'll switch with you.
No, I'm gonna stay on it. 'Cause
Try policy.
I've now found my place in it. I think it's really important for us to have school committee meetings before we have just the town meetings. Like I said, not because I don't trust anyone, I just think that we need to be really conversant and understand it better, so that we can respond better when we're asked questions.
It has been a really good process this year, so
Yes.
thank you for, thank you to you, Paul, for
Yes, thank you.
for leading us through that and Lori for your work with the town.
And I joke about it, but your colorized spreadsheets too, when you break, and you don't give us, you give us the piecemeal parts.
Yeah.
It's easier to understand the whole picture then. I don't remember ever getting such finely delineated piecemeal.
Nope.
And I think
Yeah.
those small, setting that goal that we were gonna learn all these different pieces and the presentations that you brought us every month or once a month or whatever it is, has really increased the overall committee's understanding of all of the finances of the district. I know there are still more pieces for us to cover, but I have really appreciated it, and I think it's really contributed to our overall understanding. So with that, shall we vote? Any last comment? Okay, all in favor of approving the fiscal year budget of 61,424,654, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Unanimous. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your support.
Okay, while we're on money, let's accept some from the math team.
All right, so there was a donation given by John and Susan, I think if I pronounce this correctly, Demowski, in memory of Brenda Leahy, who died this year, was a Falmouth resident and especially interested in math. And so they felt like it was nice an honor to be able to donate to the math team.
Love that.
So thank you. Yes, I hope I said that correctly.
So motion to accept that donation.
So moved.
Thanks, Mike. And Melissa's got the second. Any comments or discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That's unanimous. Thank you so much. Next up is acting on the school committee goals from for 20. Well, actually, it's 25 because it started in January. And everyone has the time should have that in the packet.
No, it's not the
Oh,
packet.
it's not in the packet.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, mine, my packet.
Yeah, it is. It's right here.
It's behind, it's behind.
Okay.
It's behind.
Time for that.
It's quite good in order.
Okay, great. Okay, so as you'll see, there are some blanks underneath so there's the title of the different goals, efficiency of operations, efficiency of meetings, and the Clipper experience, which was a holdover from last year with a bunch of additions. And we're gonna go back and take the example that was set by a previous chair when Natalie was chair for a couple of years, and every member will take some ownership and responsibility for the particular goals. So the way that we did it before is that group of people would meet, they would come up with strategies, come up with plans, and then if they were simple, those would be implemented easily. If not, if they needed to come back to the full committee for discussion, then that group of people who were like the goal one people would bring that back. And the other thing that we did was assigned deadlines to make sure that everybody knew when that work had to be accomplished. So so that we all share in the work and make sure that, you know, come a year from now or even 9 months from now, when potentially we're revisiting our goals, that we accomplished them and they don't just sit. So some people had already signed up in the retreat, Katrina, Melissa, Terry. I had signed up myself when I typed these up. And since then, Sue shared that she's interested in working on goal 2, the efficiency goal. So what would you guys like?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So after this, we presented and discussed these last week, I looked up in the policy handbook, the evaluation of school committee operational procedures, and it indicates that when the committee has completed its self-evaluation, the members will discuss the results in detail and formulate a new series of objectives. So I'm wondering, how does our self-evaluation fit into this process? And could we discuss that, or could you inform me about that?
The way that we have done it for, I don't know, however many years now, is that the goals are cyclical, like the superintendent's goals. So the evaluation is really your review of how the previous year's goals have been, and then you set the new goals for the next year. So there's not like an evaluation document like there would be for the superintendent. Our evaluation is how did we do on our goals, and then what are our next goals going to be?
Okay, so it's self-evaluation as a committee, not also a self-evaluation on how we individually have contributed.
We have done that as well, in one of the retreats that, was led by MASC, they did provide, like a self-evaluation of, you know, what your contributions are, this was years ago, do you remember that?
Yep, it was in high school.
We haven't done it in a while, but we could certainly ask, so I'm in communication with MASC about our next retreat, which will be on rules and responsibilities, we could ask them to, if they still do that, if we wanted to do that, we could include it.
They do that, so, that would be, so I would be interested in working on goal number 2 with that as part of goal number 2.
Oh, adding it like an action item around, self-evaluation?
Yes.
All right. Does that work for everyone?
Well, I'd like to add on self-evaluation, I think there's a difference between evaluating as we work on our work and evaluating as if we met our goals. And having been to some of the MASC meetings, there's a sense that it is helpful for school committees to evaluate their work. Not just their work on goals, but their work in general, in terms of how do you go. And, you know, so I think that should be part of too.
So group self-evaluation and committee evaluation. Yeah, especially if MASC is still doing that. That would be a great part of the retreat.
I mean, I don't want just the self-evaluation, I also, how do we work as a group?
I put both, I put,
Self-improvement.
member and group evaluation.
Yeah, okay.
Is that a good way to describe it?
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Member and group. That's a better than what I wrote the first time. That was terrible. Margaret, did you want to work on that as well?
I want to work in 1 and 2.
You sure?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Terry, no one has joined you yet.
I will join Terry.
All right.
And I'm gonna see if I can coerce Chris to join us as well, so it's somewhat even.
That would be good. Yeah, then we'll be
We have
3,
there were a lot of punch ones rather than for philosophical stuff.
Yeah, okay, let's just throw Chris in there, and if we need to amend, we will.
I'll strong arm.
Chris will be fine.
I'm sorry, did I mention that?
Were you joining number 1?
No, I'm on 2.
She's on 2.
I went ahead and I looked at different towns in regards to examples for goal 1 in regards to updating our, possibly updating our website.
Okay.
So if I could pass these on in regards to, this was from the town of Wayland. And some of this information I think could be very helpful as a template.
Great.
In regards to the updating of that website.
All right, I'll make copies and get them to our goal 1 people. You guys can take that out.
Is it just me and Melissa?
And Margaret.
And Margaret.
I was trying to
Oh,
write it
yes.
down. That's what I saw you print.
And as well, I went to MASC's website and printed out in regards to on goal 2, in regards to these I'm gonna be looking at, coming up with a list from that.
Great, I'll work on that with you.
No, I agree with that, I think it's really important.
Yeah.
I actually agree.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point too, Sue, that like, there's a lot of stuff out there. There are lots of other websites that are great. There's the resources that Chris Warren shared with us for like the who to ask handouts. We have a lot of examples. We do not have to start from
Some of
scratch.
it is actually on the website too, I realized after our retreat.
Some of this stuff already,
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of borrowing things that are already successful and good elsewhere. So thank you for reminding us of that. Yeah.
One thing I wanted to talk about for the Robert Schools thing, for the people who are working on that, the school board partners that Terry had sent us. They're great, so write that down because they're amazing organization.
the what?
School board partners.
Right.
Organization, I did their webinar on Robert Schools.
Oh, you did it? It was good?
Yeah, last Thursday, it was really, really good, interactive, role playing, and they are great, they answer questions, they do school committee retreats, they do trainings, they do workshops, they work on policy, really great organization.
Awesome.
That was one thing, and then the other was, this is probably not the time for it, but onboarding new members, trying to make sure people do that, signature that they have to give to the town hall, like soon after. I just found it in my handbook, that thing you're supposed to sign.
Oh,
The open meeting law.
that you got the thing.
Yeah, it's in the.
It's actually in my update, so I'm gonna come back to that one, because it's in my list of
One
stuff
of
for
those
the end of
things,
the
like
meeting.
you should ask at the second meeting for a person, be like, have you done this?
Yeah, I'm gonna come back to that at the end, because it's on my list.
Okay, sorry, that's one.
Okay. All right, is there a motion to approve the goals with the edits that we made tonight? Thanks, Katrina, and is there a second?
Now, three-way tie.
Tara said, Terry said it first, according to Katrina. Terry's got the second, Sharon, and any last comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We lost me. Any abstentions? We'll give Mike an abstention, because he wasn't at the retreat and he stepped out.
Just in terms of our school, you never have to ask for an extension.
Okay, good to know. Or, except if you have to be able to keep track. Who didn't
No,
vote.
you just have to know if there's yes or.
Right, but I would never know. It's a voice vote.
The other kind of thing too is if minutes are published, if minutes are published, you can ask anyone to correct the minutes, and then you don't really have to prove the next meeting. Just in terms of time.
Next up is acting on all of the policies that we had for our first read through at our last meeting. The ones that are related to the diploma, and then the last one on advertising in schools. We have to take them one at a time, so is there a motion to approve IKK conditions to receive a diploma? Thank you, Melissa, is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Mike, any discussion about that one? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Unanimous. IKFA, graduation in less than 5 years, is there a motion? Thank you, 4 years, oh my gosh.
That was you, Kelly.
I know.
Wait, we skipped IKF.
They're not in order here, but they're in order on the.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm seeing the agenda. Do you want me to?
No, it's okay.
Okay. So IKFA, graduation less than 4 years. Was there a motion? I didn't.
Make that motion.
Melissa's got the motion and Mike's got the second. Any comments on that one? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? And that's unanimous. IHBG, home education programs. Is there a motion on that? Melissa and Mike on the second, and any comments on that one? All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That's unanimous as well. And then the last one, diverting from graduation, it's the advertising in schools edits. Is there a motion for that? Melissa and Mike's got the second on that one. Any comments on that one? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, that's unanimous. Thank you, policy wonks. We appreciate it. Update by the superintendent.
All right, thank you. Before I get started, I thought I heard Paul say 6 million. Heart attack over here. So I just want Paul to correct. I don't know if anyone else heard him say 6 million, or if you heard him say
6%.
No, we didn't say that either.
What did you say? What are we talking about?
1.6
So you
million.
heard it correctly.
Yeah.
Oh,
one,
yeah.
that's 6 million.
Well, over here in this corner, so I just wanted it corrected so that it wasn't out for the record. It's 1.6.
Okay.
Which is roughly 3% of the budget, which you said, right? Yes.
That
was.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we, for the record, if anyone else had heard.
Thank you.
Yeah, because it does make a difference.
Yeah, that's a lot of
It does make a big difference. Along with that, I'll just jump on my list for a second. So we don't know what it means yet, or just so you know, that we know, I've already started conversations, and trying to plan for multiple scenarios, whatever this might mean, whether it means currently for FY24, or if it's just gonna be FY25. You know, we've got a very brief message from the state today, more guidance to follow. So just to let you know that we're completely on top of, the fact that that could change.
I'm sorry, you're referring to the pausing of grants?
The freezing of, the federal grants at this point. So more information on that, since we all know. So, last Monday was, Martin Luther King Jr. Breakfast. It was the 18th annual. It's just a wonderful time. So much camaraderie. So it's very good. We have our Morse Pond students, and I don't think I've heard this one announced before. I knew that our Morse Pond students have went and they have read portions of, I Have a Dream speech, but I didn't realize that they were there from the very beginning. So it was their 18th year as well, and I just felt that was like, that's amazing. Thank you so much. We had 2 of our high school students that actually got up and spoke and actually got to introduce the I Have a Dream speech and our students. And there were 2 high school students I want to give a shout out because they were so eloquent in how they spoke. They were great. So, excuse me.
It was the young Tracy.
Yeah,
And
it was Tracy, and that was,
The volunteers also, the
that is, because I
I saw them in the
actually thought they
picture.
were. Yeah, did you see me?
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, Jaden Gray and it was Rena, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, both of them are great, and I just wanted to give a shout out that to get up and speak. I want to say a little bit about the main speaker, James Morton, and he is the president of the Boston YMCA, and he spoke about mentorship, and that's been something he has brought to that, and throughout the message, and he gave a very personal story about how caring adults can actually save the lives of kids. And through his story, it absolutely was true for him. And he brought his mentee that he's been mentoring. And then it was just a surprise. There was someone out of the audience that says he mentored me too, and I wouldn't be where I was. And she told her story like it was just awful. Anyway, and so I just think that message, we're very lucky to have this. And all of our volunteers, and I just hope everyone knows that when you mentor a child, it makes a difference. And so you actually don't have to be a mentor. You can also, as he spoke, kids just need really caring adults. And so it was just a fabulous message.
I want to add to that, he really said, it was just poignant. At the very end, he had 2 brothers, and he was mentored. One of his brothers is dead when he was in his 40s, and the other one is homeless. And only because he was mentored is he where he is. And it was just, the room was absolutely silent. It was just incredible. And our volunteer group was brought forward with it.
Yeah, so Tracy spoke on that.
Tracy
Tracy
spoke, yeah, which was also very nice for the school, I thought.
Yeah. Just want to give an update on the Teaticket East Falmouth principal search. Dr. Tyler is leading the searches for both principals. And we have now a team for level, the first round of parents and staff at East, and then parents and staff at Teaticket. And we have applications coming in, and I would suspect that the East Falmouth interviews will probably start with the next couple weeks. And so we'll continue to give updates. I just wanted to let you know that both searches are underway, and they have a timeline, and we're staying on top. So, and we're getting applications for both principal positions. So that's great. Last night, the select board voted unanimously for the solar article that you voted for last time. So that's we'll be moving forward as an article at the town meeting. And so that's just, it's fabulous that we're finally moving forward on solar. So I just want to throw that out. So I have I wanted to talk a little bit about achievement. Provide this.
College spreadsheet.
The college spreadsheet. So once you get it, I'll talk about, so someone had asked the question, well, how do we compare with our peers on the Cape? And so what I did was do Barnstable County. The districts on Barnstable County that have, it's a K-12 education, because we do have some that maybe just older or younger, so this is, I'm sorry, this is in past results last spring, because this was brought up as one of the questions during that. So we've never actually looked at this and compared this way before. And so I just wanted to share that, first I'd like to start with math, that if you look across the grade 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, we are outperforming both the county and the state in all of our math. And I really feel like that's huge achievement for Falmouth, something to be proud of. And we have just implemented, the new iReady math program, even after, we had the presentation from our math department heads, earlier in the year, and they were talking about just in that first year, what the growth was just extraordinary. And so, and the scores for math of last spring also. If you look at the ELA, I'm going to talk about grades 5, 6, 7, and 8. And you can see that in grades 5, 6, 7, and 8, that Falmouth schools are outperforming both the county and the state. And then in grade 3 and 4, we match the county scores, and both Falmouth and the county at their scores is slightly below the state scores. And so we know we have some work to do there. And for Falmouth, this year, we mentioned at one of the meetings that we are in the process of finding a new curriculum for our K-6. We know it's critical, we know that we need that, and certainly showing in the 2 early grades of 3 and 4, it shows up. Even though we have multiple programs that we do meet the science of reading, that has been explained here at the school committee and have talked with you. We know that an aligned program of K-6 that meets the science of reading is better than taking different programs to try to get there. So we know it's critical to move in that direction. But I did want to show that, we are keeping pace, with the rest of the county in those grades. So just very, very proud of grade 3 all the way through 3 to 8, and certainly grade 5 through 8 in the ELA.
These are, oh, I'm sorry, I should have let it to you. No, I'm sorry. These are really great scores. I'm wondering where grade 10 is?
I did not do 10. Okay. I can do that at some time.
Okay.
Just trying to get this done today.
Okay, that would be
I'll talk about
also interesting to see.
It is, I will say, off the cuff, I can tell you that our grade 10 scores, as the presentation showed in the fall, that we were not meeting the same level as the state. So I can tell you that much. I have not been able to do the 10th yet. So we just with the plans forward with both, we know that if you look at the scores, they're certainly overall still not as what we want them to be, that we need to rise, but in comparison with our peers locally and across the state, it's like we're kind of on that same situation, but we do know, and we are committed to continuing to keep a rise in the.
Well, even if we were outperforming, we would still always be trying.
We'd always try to outperform ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I know at one point, I believe at one point, the state was offering incentives in regards to going with a science and reading curriculum. Is that still available, or?
I don't, not incentives, but we are following the state in when we were viewing the whole process that they set. We're reviewing the vendors and moving through with the making sure that we're meeting all the criteria and vendors that we're selecting. So it's been narrowed down to 2, that's where we are right now. And then in February, the 2 vendors will be coming in and, they'll be, kind of testing out a couple lessons to see, you know, which one, and both of them from, the presentation that they provided, they both seem to be great, curriculums. Some have a little bit higher strength in one area or the other, and so, yeah, the team that's been put together has some work cut out for them.
So for many, many years, we had as a standing subcommittee was curriculum committee. And I'm just wondering if, based on everything going around, just even as an observer, maybe a school committee member could be an observer in that regard.
I am fine to invite, you know, a couple members if you want to that meeting when the vendors come in. It's in February. I don't have the date right off the top of my head, but. Yeah,
I would like to contact that. Yeah, I would too. My first page.
Okay. Any other questions about that? Review the spreadsheets, okay?
Well, I have one quick question. Can I have it's every high school or every school district in the county going from like Bourne to P-Town? What are the schools in the county, I guess is the question.
So in this, we compared, the schools that have a K-12 system. So Bourne, Sandwich, Mashpee, Barnstable, DY, Monroe.
Okay.
Because the others are one or the other.
Yeah.
Right, it's not a full system.
Yep.
Might be just an elementary could,
Yeah.
you know, they might not have 5, 6, and you know, so just one of them. So.
Any other updates? Was that?
Yes, oh, no, I've got many. Okay, so.
Well, it's getting late.
Okay. I'm sorry. I just wanted to talk about, I know that, you know, we had sent the information out about the Power School breach. And I just wanted to reassure again that there's from Power School that they do not believe that any of the information has been shared, you know, out beyond, you know, the breach within. Just recently, Mike's looking, because just recently they have what we had shared when there's more information. So there will be some information coming out in the next couple of weeks, I would assume, about if anyone wants the protection insurance that Power School is going to offer. So not that we believe or that they believe that there was any sharing of any of the information, but still this is going to be an offer. So that's coming out. Just want to do that. Yeah, absolutely. Mike. Thank you. That's why I was looking over at you.
Our customer support person, they try to get a time frame, didn't hear back yet, but they're going to be offering everyone 2 years of credit monitoring protection through Experian. So as soon as we get that information, we'll be passing along to the community.
Thank you. You may have seen the FY26 governor's budget release. And I just, you know, at this point, I know that we just had another release of information from the federal level today, but the governor did put in to continue free breakfast and lunch program for all kids. So they put in 170 million in funding for that. So I know this is early stages for a statewide budget, but it goes to the values that at the state level that they're holding. And so it's in there now. We will continue to watch and I'll keep you updated, but that's where it's got to start. It's got to start in the governor's budget. So very pleased with that. And I don't know if you saw the wonderful article that Katie wrote about the Clipper closet at the high school. We talked about that a little bit. It was great. Sarah Floyd at Morse Pond is starting a Clipper closet at Morse Pond. And so just to remind you, this is where students, it is free clothing and items. And students can go in, so they can, she is setting it up that you can go in to the Morse Pond and get up to 4 items for each visit you come in. And everything is free to the kids. So all kind of clothing, they're building it up. It's very cool that we now have a mirror of what the high school put in place. And so I'm glad that caught on. It's an excellent project.
Oh, everybody's got this. Mike.
Morse Pond, I'm just saying this through you, so you can report this. Morse Pond needs, clothing racks. So if anybody has any to donate, please reach out to Sarah.
To put the stuff.
The clothes on.
Yeah,
Yes.
that makes sense.
Yeah, we're looking at buying stuff, but if we can get donations, it'd be a lot better.
Yeah, no, that's great. And we as individuals on the school committee, would it be possible at the next school committee meeting for everyone try to bring in a small donation for, in particular, the Morse Pond School?
To get them going.
To help contribute, if at all possible, if anyone remembers. If Sharon could send out that reminder.
Yeah,
I'll try to remember.
And they talk about clothing or money.
I
Yeah, I
guess
think
they
it's
take
all
gift
of
cards as well, it's my understanding,
Okay.
but, clothing article, small clothing article or something that you may have.
Thank you.
Related to that, I was at a health fair out in, I was thinking Monomoy, and they actually had their very small version of Clipper Closet, not nearly as cool, but they brought it to that, health fair. And so it really normalized the fact that people, you know, it's okay to take stuff, and so the community members were taking things, and it was really nice. So I don't know, maybe we'll wanna have that, but it was a nice addition, and it made it very normal for people to be taking things. Yeah.
Ari might be doing this at Lawrence as well.
I know, this just has recently come up at Morse Pond, it's very, so, yeah. So it was kind of hot off the press, I just wanted to share like that it's very, but I mean, it's so wonderful what they started at the high school and that someone took this on and, is Sarah, and thank you.
But
I don't know things.
having been on various committees, at Lawrence, the kids who are leaving do leave their uniforms.
Yeah, they
So-
are.
That is true.
So that in fact, the kids need uniforms, so that
Yes.
Lawrence doesn't have a clipper closet, but they do, and they actually buy clothes for kids
Yeah.
at Lawrence, and I just want.
Thank you for saying that, that's right, they do.
They have it sort of set up already.
A lot of families that, when the kids move on to the high school,
They leave the
they
uniforms.
leave their uniforms there. The
But I-
kids are not actually uniforms. It's a dress for success initiative, it's really not a uniform.
But I also know that the principal buys clothes if needed for some of the kids.
Yes, thank you. for sharing that. Okay, and, my very last thing, we are having a winter forum, it's our annual kind of meet and greet. We have, Falmouth educators, administrators, and we have Woods Hole and Greater Falmouth partners. It is tomorrow, I apologize for that, but if you have a free night tomorrow night and you would like to go and see some of our partners and the conversations just about the work that we do with our Woods Hole partners, and also like what Coy, other partners that we have.
And if you go, wear your t-shirt, because then everyone will know who you are.
And then you'll know yours. Anyway, thank you.
Is that it?
Okay, I'm gonna stop now.
No, that's fine. Let's go back.
That was 10 minutes. I tried to look myself.
Routine business, the minutes. We have a corrected copy at our seat for January 14th. Is there a motion to approve the motions? Thanks, Melissa. Is there a second? Second. Katrina, thank you. Any last edits or comments on the minutes? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I left early, I apologize.
Mike's abstaining, and other than that, passes. Okay, next up, so, just a sum up from our retreat last week. One of the things that we did was the goals that we have already voted on tonight, that highlight some of the things that we're gonna be working on this year. One other thread at our retreat was our gratitude for the leadership team we have, from the building level to administration. And we reflected on our appreciation that we have such a solid and trustworthy team we can rely on to lead the district with integrity. And last, we discussed some of the extraordinary ways that we educate and support students in Falmouth, and why we think we rise above other districts, not, sort of on the heels of what you were already saying. And our plan for the coming year to share some of those ways that we think our district is excelling. And so hopefully you'll see more of that to come, so be on the lookout. Other committee report from me is that contract negotiations is going awesome. And Unit B, C, and D are coming up next, so, stay tuned for me to just say they're ongoing again, but right now, they're going great. Other committee member reports. Melissa?
Were you still in my negotiations?
I'm sorry, I was so excited.
Sorry, I'm so excited. Policy is ongoing. Thank you all for approving, the policies this evening. Last Friday, I was grateful to get to the legislative breakfast that we have once a year hosted by the collaborative. This year, it took place at, the DY Intermediate School. It was really, exciting to be in their new space. I've said this before, I have a unique position professionally that I work mid-Cape, and I'm able to kind of ask people, you know, how did they get there? We're sort of looking at something similar, kind of thing. And they, you know, sort of similar to what we're having right now with some growing pains, that it was a bumpy road, but ultimately, you know, their campus is gorgeous and their facility is gorgeous. I've not been able to go in the last few years because of work. And this year they sort of did a different sort of format. They had breakout sessions, 3 different breakout sessions. I attended the one on facilities, and it was hosted by the Barnstable Superintendent, who did an amazing job. And then we kind of came together at the end. There were some elected officials there, not school committee, like Senator Julian Sears, Representative Vieira, Representative Mobley, among others that were there. And it was a great discussion all around, I would say. And DY did amazing, and in concert with the collaborative, it was an excellent, well-attended breakfast. So thank you to the collaborative and DY.
Thanks for going. Anybody else get a chance to go? I didn't get to go.
Just a quick question.
Yes, sure.
Was the overwhelming consensus that the enrollments are going down all over the Cape?
Everywhere. People are not having large families anymore. It's not, you know, we have this aging infrastructure across the Cape, not just in Falmouth. We are not unique in this, and not just unique on the Cape. This is everywhere. And you know, families are just not having 5 and 6 and 8 and 10 kids anymore. They're just not. And we have these buildings that were set up for larger populations. And, you know, you could sort of play at both sides of the fence, because we also have standards for classrooms that are different. You know, we can't jam, like, how many kids did they jam in this room when this was a school? Probably 3 grades, I don't know, maybe not, but either way, you know, our standards have changed.
My husband was here.
Okay, thank you, Roger, for that. But, you know, our standards have changed, and we, not just Falmouth, we educators, we people who sit in these seats and advocate, we have to look at everyone. We can't, you know, it's hard, it's emotional, it's, you're trying to be financially responsible. These are sort of things that kind of came up on Friday, and I felt a little less alone having conversations with some people, both on, you know, in the discussion, breakout groups, and just casually talking to people over
Interface with the casual.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Terry.
One thing that you gotta throw into that mix about how many young people on the Cape is, I heard this statistic, I'm gonna look it up before, but we are one of the oldest counties in the country.
Yes,
Age-wise. Age-wise. I heard we were the 3rd oldest, I don't know if that's true or not, but we're really in.
We're the oldest one outside of Florida.
Yeah, we rival Florida for it, so there you go, that's part of the mix too.
You wanna go on with that collaborative update? I figured you got one. You got one?
No, because we only meet once a month.
Okay. Oh, yeah, it was just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was just 2 weeks.
Any
ago.
other committee updates?
Yeah, committee, I just wanted to toot the horn of the school board partners again, because I don't know if anybody's ever done anything with them. I've never heard of them until Cherry sent out that email about their Robert's Rules webinar, and they were just really impressive and great people to work with, highly skilled. The two facilitators of the webinar were from New Orleans, but the people in the webinar, there was 35 people in it, and they were from all over the country, from school committees, and with like a variety of years of experience. And the facilitators were just really amazing and answered a lot of questions, and I would highly recommend that you work with them in the future.
Awesome. Thank you for testing that. Any requests for follow-up information? Oh, I forgot a couple more things. Before we do requests. If you haven't already, please make sure you get your campaign finance form to Sharon. I forgot and just did it today. Apologies, Sharon. I'm guessing everyone else is getting the reminder emails about the conflict of interest training as well. It came, I don't know, it came in the last week or so. The one that's actually due only takes 5 minutes. So there's one that's very long, that one's not due yet, but the other one is only 5 minutes. So
You can't fast forward to the long one, I tried it.
you cannot, and you have to actually get all the questions right, or it makes you do it again. But if nothing else, do the short one, because it really only takes 5 minutes.
What training is that?
It's a conflict of interest training.
Oh, I just did a long one today, you mean I didn't have to do that?
No, you do have to do it eventually, but it's not
I've done
immediately
it
due.
every time.
You have to do it all the time. You have to do it once a year, I think, or every other year, something like that.
You get to do the short one year, and then the following year you have to do the long one, so
Well,
every other year.
Well, maybe not everyone's on the
And I
same
don't think,
schedule.
I don't think everyone's on the same.
I just have a
Necessarily.
short one.
Yeah, I only had to do the short.
I thought it was very interesting.
And then the last thing is that, there was a period where I wasn't getting the MASC emails, so, if you're not getting the MASC email, there was an announcement of a webinar coming up this Friday, from DESE on immigrant student rights. So if you didn't get that and want it, just let me know and I'll forward the link. Oh, or we can just pass this around. I've already signed up, so we can also just have some of us go and report back.
Kelly, do you know if, for those of us that are working, do you know if, we'll be able to see it, you know, is it live only, is it?
But I'll ask when I'm in it, if it's recorded and get the link.
So they record, so you're getting the exact same one that the superintendent's got on Monday.
Oh,
You're gonna
okay.
say it Friday. They did record it, and, but they sent the slides out for us, but they didn't send the recorded one, so I'm trying to find out if that's available.
That'd be great.
And if not,
I'm
we
sure,
can at least share
but
the
they
slides
did,
and we can.
they did
like-
say it was gonna be the exact same
Sure.
one, and then we have a team one, that, I have my administrators coming to, on the 5th. And there's one for our attorneys. I can't remember the date of that one, but anyway, so that's coming up. So they did set it up. I was actually impressed that they set it up for multiple times for different groups.
That's
was
great.
good.
I appreciate it.
So if I do get the report, I can.
Did you have?
No, I was gonna say, most of anything they present either gives you slides or recordings. If you go on their website, there's massive amounts of information that is very good for school committee members to really review.
Thanks. Yeah, you had said Sharon needs our. You did it, I saw you do it last.
That was when we were at East.
Yeah, okay. I just walked out with it and forgot to do it, so I was just, since I forgot, I figured there was a chance that someone else did. Okay, now, request for follow-up, anything? Covered everything, is there a motion to adjourn? Oh, wait, we're not adjourning, no. We are moving back into executive session to complete the work that we didn't finish before the meeting. So we will go online and back into executive.
I know. I was keeping up my end.